Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another decent deck profile, and this time I'll be starting to cover DBD12 decks, but starting actually with the extra cards that we get from the set, which is the quintuplex. And since I'm playing Stoichia as my main nation, so this time I'll be covering Itsuki Nakano. So compared to like the special win con deck that is very hard to achieve, I mean, this is kind of like the not popular pick if you are picking from different nation stuff. Ours seems a lot stronger in a lot of ways and requires a less setup and easy to achieve a lot of things, but she is hard if you are going to just play kind of almost purely just with the quintuplex deck. So in this video I'm going to show you that way, but I'm also actually planning on using her just herself and using other cards, or not with the quintuplex, but actually with the Stoichia nation only cards. So I'm only going to turn her into a key Vanguard and then support her with a lot of different things. So if you are interested to see that, make sure you also comment down below, let me know your thoughts that you want to see it, then give me more motivation to actually make it to happen, because I need to play test it and to think about it, and there. Okay, so if we are playing a normal version, then our right line will basically be all of her except the starter, because everyone get the same starter, and then you get this crest. Now the Great Zero don't get you the crest, but the Great One actually get you there, and starting from there you can only ride on the quintuplex, so that's limiting how you make your right line. But if you are playing just purely her, then you can just leave these 4 cards alone. So again, if you want to see that, make sure you let me know. But let's talk about the right line. The zero force you to ride on her to be second in order to draw a card. You can't write any random stuff to draw a card, so do remember that. And the Great One only gain you the crest, basically, nothing else. The Great 2 allows you to look at top 7, so that you can search for one of them, like any card which you have 7 types of them that are quintuplex, and put them to the special area that the crest changing into, that is called a memory. Now let's also talk about the crest at the same time. So the crest is changing your order zone, also count as an area that is called memory. So the order zone is also the memory. They are not separate zones, they are the same place. Then your order zone kind of becomes memory, but you can still play orders because it's still an order zone. But if you put any card that is not the quintuplex into the memory or the order zone, when the crest is there, they will go to the drop zone instead. So you cannot play any extra non-quintuplex set orders, because you say you are going to play this order, set order, before it actually land on the order zone or the memory zone, it will go to the drop zone. Alright, so far that's how I see it happening. If you do find a ruling or something that says different, feel free to share with me as well. But so far, I mean, that's how we are preventing a lot of different things happening across all the nations. So this also gives you another skill that you once per turn you can so +1, and you can look at the top cards of your deck equals to the grade of your Vanguard. So if you're on grade 1, you can look at top 1. If you're on grade 2, you can look at top 2. Your grade 3, you can look at top 3. And from there, you choose up to 1 of your quintuplex and put them to your memory. and the rest to the bottom of the deck. You don't shuffle, you put them to the bottom of the deck. And if you actually select a unit that share the same name of the cards that are already in the memory, you can actually call that card to Vanguard Circle instead. So you, in this build or in most of the quintuplets, that you only requires types, not amount. So the more types you have, the more benefits you get. And if you get dupes, you can actually bring them to the board. So you can actually use them as attacker, as booster, or any kind of helper to reach the goal you want to reach. So that's the crest. After that, you can look at all the skills. So this, look at top 7 to actually get one to your memory. That helps you to get the numbers. And then for her, she get another skill as a Vanguard once per turn. If your quintuplet Vanguard attacks during the turn, it will get +5. And if you have 5 types or more cards in your memory, you will get 10k instead of 5. So as she said, it depending on how many types you have instead of how many cards you have in the memory. So if you have dupes, let them be. They are not going to help you out. And especially when you use this, bring the unit out. Make sure you do that. And also let's talk about Nakano, which is our main Vanguard. So she get a few skills. One is the auto skill. When this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, the top 7 cards of the deck, choose up to 2 quintuplets from among them, reveal them, choose a card from the up to 2 cards that you selected, you reveal it, 1 put into your hand, up to 1, and the rest you will go to memory and shuffle deck. So this will allow you to maximize cards that you can get the quintuplets, because you will get 1 card into your hand and get 1 to your memory maximum. That actually helps a lot, and if you keep like rewriting her, then this skills will keep proccing again and again, and that will help you to reach at least 5 or hopefully 6 or even 7 types if you're lucky, right? And then there's a continuous skill. During your turn, if your memory has 6 or more quintuplets with different card names, so it's types, all of your front row quintuplets Vanguards gets 2k for each card in your drop zone. So the more you have in your drop zone, your front row Vanguards will be strong, but your Vanguard will not, because it's only powering Vanguards. But if you have like 5 cards in your drop, while you have 6 types in your memory, that's already plus 10k to your front row Vanguards, which kind of is already a personalized benefit. And the more you have, if you have 10, it's plus 20. If you have 15, then it's plus 30, and it keeps going on. So the more you have in your drop, the stronger she gets, or she brings to your Vanguards. Your Vanguards will not be restanding, so being able to have high power actually helps, but you need to find 6 types, which is not easy. You only see 4 here, and you need to find 2 more, which you will see very soon. Lastly, which is the most important skill, Vanguard Circle auto once per turn. At the end of the battle, this unit attacks, counter +1 standard unit, and gets drive -2 until end of turn. So if you take every single quintuplet cards away and just play her, she is a restander with just counter blast, which is still nice. You don't get the drive check, but sometimes if you are lucky to actually get the OT on top of her and she restands, that's already another pain to deal with, because your opponents might just PG this and then you get an OT, restand, and swing. That can end games, even without the drive. And even if she's only attacking for 13 for 2 times, that's enough to bait a lot of shields if you push your opponents to the edge. So she can be a separate build as long as you just consider her as a restander, and then use a lot of different supports to make her strong. That's already good enough. But if you're playing this, if you get 6 or more types, you will get very strong regards with 2 Vanguard attacks. Right? So far, just remember all those. That's all you need to know about the Riot deck and basically how the deck works. And from there, we will look into our main deck to find out what cards we actually use to support her. Now, first, 3 more, because we need to do the person right, and soul is very important because you will be soul blasting like Wuji King to keep finding cards in order to get to the number that you are needed. And next, I am running 4 of another Nakano, but this is a regard support that when a quintessential quintuplex Itsuki Nakano, which basically is your Cardfight Vanguard, stands by your card's ability, which is basically your own skill. You can counterblast 1, put a quintuplex from your drop to the bottom of the deck, then choose one of your quintuplex, and it gets power plus 10k until end of turn. If your memory has 5 or more quintuplex, then you can draw a card. So usually I use her to pump herself up, and because I don't always get the 5, so I don't always get to draw. But if you are lucky to get 5 types early, then you will start getting draw cards, so you don't actually lose a lot of stuff. Even though her restand doesn't need you to discard any card, but you're not gaining too much cards from there, and sometimes you actually need to use a lot more cards to make her strong. So an extra draw actually helps, but usually it's just for a 10k. And then 2 more grade 2 Nakano for the types that we need to put into memory. She is a potential 20k attacker, so it isn't that bad, but other than that, she's not going to help you too much. And then 2 more right line grade 1 Nakano, another card that we are using for memory. Even though she has a skill that if your memory has 3 or more quintuplex with different card names, you will get plus 5k shield, so she can be a 10k shield that you can just put them to the drop and then reuse her later. But believe me, it's not going to change a lot, and she usually just a vanilla most of the time, so don't need to worry about her that much. And next is a card that I actually need to run 4 of, is Unfamiliar Tone Itsuki Nakano. So she gets 2k on Riga Circle if your memory have 3 or more quintuplex, which is quite easy to achieve sometimes. Sometimes you just get 2 forever, but the 10k, the plus 2k is actually quite easy to achieve in my opinion. And then when this card is placed on Riga Circle during your main phase, your Vanguard is a quintuplex. Look at the top 3 cards of the deck, choose up to 1 of them that is quintuplex among them, put into memory and shuffle your deck. So this helps you to increase your memory as fast as possible. And because your crest putting cards to the bottom of the deck, sometimes they are like OT, they can be PGs, they can be all sorts of triggers, or they might be your person, right? And then after that you use her, look at top 3, hopefully you get 1, and then you get to shuffle your deck, so those cards won't go to the bottom forever, that you're not going to see them again. Allowing you to shuffle your deck is actually very good. That's why you actually need 4 of her. And then other than that, of course we need PGs, and I'm actually running the Dragon Tree Cows because there are more orders that I'm playing, so a chance to pick it up is definitely welcome. But if you consider soul is more important, then you can change this to mushrooms. I'm still debating on which one to use, but when I am in a very tough spot, the cow is actually helping me out by giving me the order I need, as long as I don't send them to the bottom of my deck with this Nakano. But the soul is very tight if you can't person right. So mushroom in that way is helping you to pump the soul, and is putting you tokens to help you boost, to help you early rush So it's a different way of thinking, but my focus is on using orders efficiently. Then I'm going for the training count. And then 2 more of the Sonic Vanguard, because you want the type. This is the 7th type, basically, or the 6th type so far. You have 1, you have 2, you have 3, you have 4, you have 5, you have 6. And the 7th is the Nakano order. Now, this card has a few tags that allows you to do a lot of things. First, you play this when your Vanguard is the Nakano grade 3, because it's a grade 3 order as well. Then choose up to 2 quintuplets with the same card name. Make sure they are same premium drop, so you need to find 2 cards that is with the same name. Put 1 to the bottom of the deck and put the rest to the memory. And if you choose 1 or more cards, then perform all of the following according to the number of quintuplets with different card names in the memory. If you're 3 or more, which is usually the common thing, you get to draw a card. If it is 5 or more, you get a counter charge 1, which is very important for you to withstand. And if you are that lucky to get all 7 types, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 types, choose 1 of Vanguard, you get +1 drive for the turn, so you can do a triple drive and then a single drive with this skill. But you need to get 7, which is very, very hard. That's why if you want to focus on playing the quintuplets, you at least need to get 2 copies of each into your main deck and right deck included. Now, one thing that you can trick with this is that you can put the card that is in the right deck to your memory, and then put the card that you needed in your main deck into the bottom of the deck, then you shuffle it later. That's one thing. 2, if you actually want to like squeeze your deck, you can return these ones to your right deck and put the one that usually can go back to the main deck actually to the memory. Then instead of increasing 1 card in your deck, you just bind a card and then put a card to right deck, which is not relevant to you anymore. So by doing that, you don't touch your deck. If you have a whole bunch of triggers, you can just keep squeezing, and even if you shuffle, it's not going to decrease the chance you get triggers. So it's up to you which way you want. To me, I like to put the right deck cards actually to the memory, because I do need some of them to reuse or even use my crest to bind them. So depending on the situation, this can help. But the +1 drive is actually very, very hard to achieve. Even though I do play like different quintuplets, I play all of them, it's not going to be enough. That's why I'm playing de-rendering souls, so that I can get myself to +1 drive by discarding this order, right? And after that, I can use my cow to pick it up, so I can simply just reuse this. Or maybe if I have too many orders, I can actually pick up de-rendering souls again and reuse it. Because using this, you don't need to care how many different names quintuplets you have in your memory. You just +1 drive, so it makes things a lot easier. But then it requires you to use another order, so I'm not using too many of it. Else it's more of a dead card. You can choose to use a lot more orders, but given that you actually, if you are playing a quintuplets focus build, you need to put a lot of different of them, which kind of limiting how many cards you can use that is not quintuplets. Because like so far, ignoring the PG, what I have space for is 5 cards, right? And the 5 cards, they are 1 here, 1 here, 2 here, and then 1 extra spot. So if I'm maximizing out, then I basically have 1 slot, which is not going to help. So, and if you're playing too much orders, given that this deck, you actually need to use a lot of cards that don't give you too much of the shield value. This gives you a little bit, but not very much. so you're not aiming for a very long game. The more orders you have is going to hurt you a lot more. So I think 6 is okay, but if you really want an extra one, you can cut one of the cow, I think, but it's up to you. And we are ready at triggers. So Soiki OD, something that really saved my life, giving that my front row is already back, giving an extra front trigger effect is going to make it even scary. More draws is good, a chance to heal is great, my Vanguard is withstanding, so extra crit plus 100 million will be very nice to have compared to the red generate trigger over trigger that allows your regard to punch again because I don't gain crit, so it's way better to use this. Soaring crit, I usually use it for guard, but like worst of the worst, I can get an extra soul just by playing it and boost, then getting the soul plus 2k to something else. Yeah, that's basically it. And then 4 more crits. I just make this in the fly, and so I just pick whatever critical trigger I can find, but just make them the same one if you can. And 3 effect draws. If you actually want more, you can cut one of the crit to one of the draw, but I think when you're playing your standing Vanguard, giving crit to your Vanguard is a lot better than just seeing a draw. That's why I'm doing it. And then 3 normal heals plus 1 effect heals of your choice. I choose this because most of the time I see decks that with crit with people that I'm playing, so I'm using this one. But if you are playing with decks that likes to attack you multiple times with the same unit, then you can use the other one. If the area you're playing, no one is gaining crit, no one is going to swing for more than one time with the same unit, then you can just use the normal heal. So it's up to what you're playing against, then you adjust. Yeah, so the deck itself, the choices, the things they can use is very limited, but when you are lucky, things can go really fast. Now a few notes, when you go from 0 to 1, you get the crest, right? And some people immediately so fast want to use the crest effect, but to me, I won't, because looking at top 1 is so risky. I will start from 2, because from 2 you are starting to require to actually get 3 to your memory, and looking at 2 is way better than looking at 1. That's why I'm doing it starting my grade 2. So when you go to your grade 2, then you soul blast, and even soul blasting from your right deck has some kind of things you need to note about, because you will be using your order that requires you to pick 2 cards with the same name that are quintuplets, which will be these mainly. So if you ditch this to your right deck already, for using your right deck already from your hand, then you probably will be soul blasting this one. If you are putting this to your drop zone, then you probably will be soul blasting the great one, right? So you really need to look at what you have in your drop zone and prepare. Even though you might not like immediately play this order, but sometimes it helps, because an extra draw is an extra draw, and it speeds up your counts on your memory. So I think it's still a very good card to use even when you go into your free and you immediately use it. It's fine, but I like to use it like probably on the second turn on my grade 3 if I have E-rendering souls. I will go for this first, because this can still be searched. It's still a quintuplets card, so I can still have a way to search it. And in your opening hand, if you can, try to save one, because it will be a pain if you can't present right at all. I did a few games that I need to put one to memory first because I only see her, and I need to increase the count, so I don't have a choice. I need to find one anyway at some point. So here we are, and then I don't see any copy of her again in my hand, in my drop, in my damage, in my memory. It all stays in the deck. That happens. That's something that you can't avoid. So if you see one in your opponent hand, try not to shuffle it back. Try to keep it, unless your hand is extremely bad, which even that, I think this is still a good card to keep. Right? And just put these out to bash early games if you can, because you really need to stock up the memory. The more you play, the better it gets. And even if both of them gone, you can still use your card to put one here, put one to the bottom of the deck, and then maybe you get to shuffle it later, then you can get her again and use your skill again, which helps you to thin your deck even better. Yeah, and then the rest is just rush, collect your printer blitz, hopefully 7, if not at least 6. Then at least, even your Vanguard is weak, your sides will be strong. Yeah, I was considering to use Prime Trigger, but then draw is actually important here. So I already make the choice to play 8 crit with the OT can count as 9 crit. So at least I think I need some draws. Yeah. So I think that's it for this deck profile. It's actually quite easy to gather the cards and not too hard to pilot, as long as you count your Vanguard Nakano. It's just a count last one with standard, then you don't have too much of a pressure. And as we play standard, hope for this OT to make it great, increasing your drive check so you can actually make that happen and be happy. Yeah, so I think that's it for this deck profile. Give it a like if you like this deck, share with your friends, so they might be interested to play this. Let them know there's one way to build it, there's more ways. I'll work on that later and share with you guys. Subscribe for more deck profiles, deck fights, unboxing videos, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.